our videos shared and viewed a million times. But what is the impact? What is the effect? What happens to your life when one of your videos goes viral when you didn't plan for it? That's what we're going to talk about today. Me and my co-host, Mr. Paul Ramsey. Hey, Mr. Paul Ramsey.
Good morning,
Morning, Viet.
afternoon, and evening, depending on when you're watching this, I suppose.
I thought you were going to say, good morning, Vietnam.
No, no, I can't step into those shoes. Only he can do that.
It's a big one. So
So,
if you guys wondered about going viral and what does that mean and videos and all that jazz, hop on in to viralconnectivity.com/live because we're talking to Jody.
Jody Goudreau, one of my favorite people on the planet.
And she's
What's
here
up,
and
girl?
she's going viral. So hey, Jody.
Hello.
There she is. So we'll give you the quick rundown about my beautiful friend Jody. So Jody works in a school district as an occupational therapist. And when everything switched with the pandemic and students had to come home, she kept doing her job and is still doing her job, seeing like at least 10 students a day over this, right? So she's still doing her stuff. And she, of course, because she's so thoughtful, was thinking about what happens when you send all these kids home and they're used to having recesses and ways to move their bodies and do things that now maybe they don't have as easily. So she thought about the parents too. The parents have these kids running around and going bonkers sometimes because they don't have as many outlets. So she made one simple video, which was a video of what she called a chalk walk. She drew in chalk all on the street in front of her house, this big, almost like a chalk drawn obstacle course where they had tasks and things to do and they followed the chalk through. And not only did she do it, but she demoed it, right? Which was a smart thing to do. She made this video where she demoed how it worked and she threw it up on Facebook. And I have lost track, but first of all, Jody, how long ago was that now? A month ago?
March 27th was when the initial video went
Yeah.
that I posted.
And so the first day, how many views did it get?
I think I was excited when it got 500. I was like, 500 people have watched this video. I was like, that's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. Any of
500
us would be happy to have 500 views, right? But here we are a month later. How many views does it have now?
Is at 2.9 million. We're approaching 3 million right now.
So Jody blew up, right? Jody blows up and she goes viral. And next thing you know, people all over the world are reaching out to her and they're wanting to be her friend on Facebook. And and so we are all the people who know her and love her, we're like, nice job, you're doing so great. And then she reached out to me one day and she's like, they won't stop contacting me. So you started a group on Facebook, right? You started a group and now already you're just shy of 1,000 people in that group. And what's happening in that group? How are you using that group?
So the group evolved, yes, because I couldn't have 70 friends a day contacting me. And I was like, that's my personal page. And so some of it was they found me and thought, oh, this girl must have all these great videos for us to watch. Well, no, it was a one-hit wonder. I was like, yes, I have all these ideas, but no, this is my personal Facebook page. So we've got to do something else. And that's where you would help me say, okay, like let's navigate them someplace else. So occupational therapy is a lot more than just the chalk walk that I did. I work with kids with all sorts of needs. And so families are now trying to figure out how to be moms and dads and therapists and teachers and all of the things. And what I do and the things that I help kids with all day long are things that parents are now trying to figure out how to do. So basically, I just opened it up to a platform, and it's not just for therapists, it's for parents, it's for grandparents, it's whoever's taking care of their kids right now, trying to figure out how to do that. And so it's very organic. I get on there at the end of the day when I'm exhausted from seeing kids, and I just spout off things that are in my head, and families and everyone is seeming to dig it. So that's kind of exciting.
They totally are digging it. In fact, I love the other day, you had permission to share a voicemail that you got from Africa, right?
Yeah, from Ghana. I woke up in the morning. I had to listen to it 3 times because I cried through the first 2, listening to her amazing, beautiful voice. And I was like, this is crazy that like my little video that this 47-year-old mom bouncing down the chalk walk has now gone to West Africa and has helped kids there. And that's just like, I did that? That's crazy.
And so what is so cool about this, right, is those of us who are in the small business world, look at our world through the small business or entrepreneurial mindset. I think we get so often thought about like, what's a neat way I can grow my business? What's a neat way like Jody did none of that. Jody, all the stuff we're striving for all the time, we're like, I so wish I could have a video go viral. All Jody did was like, how can I help families and kids? She made one video. The timing was excellent, right? It was the perfect time to do it, put it out there, and the response toward that authenticity and that genuine desire to be of service and to help is where, you know, everything took off from. But I think it's cool to notice too that here you are a month later, like it wasn't just like when someone makes a funny cat video and it goes viral and then people they stop talking about, like, these people are still, they're in your group, they're engaging with you, they're interacting with you on a daily basis. There's good stuff happening.
So you know what?
Yeah.
What's interesting is that you didn't plan on it, and you did something that was so just like fun, right? So what do you think in it make it go viral? Like, what do you think was the kind of like the magic thing that attracted a lot of people into, oh, this is so cool, let me share it with my friends?
Well, I think a lot of it was timing. I mean, we're in the middle of a world crisis, a pandemic, and everything on the news is either political and people aren't into that, or they are into that, or it's what's going on with the virus. And quite frankly, I think maybe it was just, there's a lot of people on social media because that's all we have really, right, as far as social communication right now. And that was something that they were like, okay, this is way more fun to watch than anything else that's on the news right now. And it just, whatever, the timing was what it was. And people are stuck home with their kids and they're like, what can I do with them? Instead of saying, get back on your iPad or watch another movie or do this. And they were like, chalk.
Which is so super cool. There's a guy, I don't know your name, on Twitch, and they're saying, what can you do with 1 million views now, 3 million views? And he says $1 donation. How will that change your life? For every
that
view.
would be incredible.
But so you have, like, what you've done is you've taken that without having to have a major, like, you haven't built a website, you haven't like put it, like, you've just created a Facebook group and you're retaining you've got about 1,000 people who, you know, you're retaining, and that's still growing, right? And tell us about, Jody, like, how are they looking at the role modeling you did and extending that within the group? What are they doing?
I think for me, I want to make parents, whoever's taking care of kids, whoever it is, empowered that they can make a difference at home. And so it's not like big lingo therapy talk. It's not this. It's like, what can you do with a sponge? What can you do with a broken Tupperware lid? I mean, there's things, OTs can make a toy out of anything. And so, but in my mind, those are just things that I know. That's just what I do every single day. And I had no idea that just spouting off the stuff to other people, they'd be like, seriously, really? Like, that's great. Like, what do you mean? So for me, if I can just pass on something that's easy and it's attainable and it's something like we don't need a lot of, then people feel like, okay, I can do it. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be Pinterest worthy. It doesn't have to be this grandiose thing. You can help your kid with very little and make a big difference. And so I think that for me is the biggest takeaway, is people being like, I can do that. I
really think that's the strength of what Jody's doing. Is the stuff I see her doing, it's always like, I can show you how to make something out of almost nothing. And I think that's a big part of where people feel this tremendous sense of value, right? Like her second video, wasn't it your second one, Jody, was just talking to parents about, now that your kids are home, the furniture is made for grownups and not for kids. And so think about that. It was just that one simple thing, but that was another one that people responded really strongly to, right?
Yeah. I mean, we take all of these kids out of a school the furniture fits them. Everything fits. The chairs, desks, everything is kid sized. And then we say, we get them home and everything is grown up sized. Now they have to do all of their work, all of their learning at a space that doesn't fit them. And the parents were like, why won't they sit still? Why are they falling out of the chair? Why can't we get anything done? I'm like, oh, well, there's a reason. They have no idea where their body is because nothing's connected to anything.
Yeah.
So
I love that. And I think, I'm like, man, she has really good instincts. She just stays in her OT, right? She's not trying to do anything other than what she knows she's got 25 years of experience in. And all that experience is coming through to people in a way that's like crazy good accessible, you know, like she's just like, look, think about this. Look how easy it is to do something with this. And so, you know, she's not like, so what you need is this really complicated product.
Go buy
right?
this thing. Yeah. So Jody, do you have any advice for people with their kids, you know, with ants in their pants? Or for example, like the biggest one is my kid, we're trying to get him off of video games, right? Because he's like 24/7 plugged into the machine. And his excuse is, this is the only way I can see my friends right now. And so now with the social distancing and stuff, we're like, yeah, what do we do, right? Like, any advice on that?
it is super. I mean, it's going to be interesting when we do get these kids back into the classroom setting, what like the residuals of this, like Zoom fatigue and all of these things that they're talking about now. It's really real. I mean, everything I talk about developmentally is we need to get kids off of these devices, but they're right. I mean, this is their way of communicating. You know, I think that there are rationales behind teenagers saying that they have to connect with their friends. I mean, adults are the same thing. I mean, I'm on my phone more. I'm connecting with the students more this way. I think there are ways of making it meaningful, and that there are time parameters on it for sure. And there's a difference between doing schoolwork and just being on it for the sake of video gaming. I'm more concerned about the long-term effects of attention and focus once they get back to classrooms, and how we reconnect them physically, mentally, not in this format. There's not a whole lot of ways to get around it right now because we are stuck. And so in some ways, the sooner we can get back to some sense of normal movement in this world is going to be great. But I think it's also going to be a huge adjustment. And I don't know that a lot of us are going to handle it super well.
Yeah, it's interesting because, I can definitely see him being ADD, right? He's not ADD, but it's so hard because all he does all day is YouTube, which is like very fast, right?
Well,
Video games, very fast.
The speed in which they take in the information, it's automatic, it's immediate, and nothing. We see it all the time in schools. Like kids can't process things in the real world because they're used to getting everything in immediate, rapid fire time. There's no need to process information because it's solved for them in seconds. So it's hard. I don't know.
So one of the things that you were doing is the chalk walk, which was fantastic because that gets them out and gets them in their body and gets them exercising. It's a little fun way. And I was really impressed. Guys, if you haven't seen the video and you want to see the video, which you should, Jody, where can they find it?
Well, Paul has a link to the YouTube video. And so I don't know if that can be shared on there, but also my Facebook group that I have, OT with Jody, is public, and anybody's welcome to join that. And all of my videos that I've been sharing with families are on there regarding the positioning, regarding the chalk, regarding anything that I'm doing with children and families right now. So it can be accessed there as well.
And this is the group that Jody is talking about, OT with Jody. You can hop in and just join the group and see all the videos and all the other stuff, the fun stuff that you can do there. Really, really cool. So
stop right on that one right there. You see her there in front of the tree?
Yep.
I love even how just like little things like we always talk about community, right?
Yep.
So one of the earliest comments on that when I was checking it out yesterday was a woman who wrote, "This is so great," and totally off topic, "Where did you get that outfit?" I was like, that's where
that's the important thing, Paul. I mean, right? That is the important thing. Yeah. It's really funny.
I think a lot of the success of any of this is everything you see is what you get with me. Like it is the ums and the ahs, and my dad's like, why do you keep scratching your head? I don't know. It's a nervous habit, I guess. But the people who are responding are like, they get it. They feel like they're sitting there talking with me. So I feel like it's the less stuffy I make it, the more relatable it is. And so I think so I'm just sticking with it. You get me with the hat, you get me with my workout clothes, you get me scratching my head, I'm gonna call it a day.
Yeah. We have a comment from Twitter, and he's saying, will this be available to replay? I would like my wife to see this. Awesome stuff, you guys. So definitely, we'll show you exactly where to get it right here. And your wife can hop on in. And if you want your wife to speak with Jody, this is the community for her to join and just have conversations. And this is Jody. Exactly
so
where we are
funny,
right
that's
now.
me.
Yeah, totally. It's human, right? It's fantastic. You know what's funny, Paul? You're talking about like clothes and what women pay attention to. Most of the conversations in the women groups about the end of the COVID is like, I need to go and get my nails done. That's the biggest.
There's a lot of things that we take for granted, right? Like I've seen a lot of people, it's not so much for me, but a lot of people talking about how nice it'll feel to get a haircut and
or you can get pink.
right.
Yeah.
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 Jody, tell me about now that you have had that group for a little while and it keeps growing, how do you source new ideas for things to talk about from the like community dialogue that's going on?
So some of it is triggered off of like a parent question, and that might start something. Somebody will say, okay, this is great, but this is what I'm having a hard time with. And so then that might spark something in my head. The fact that I'm also online every single day with families and parents and hearing what they're going through or watching how they're interacting with their kids, I'm like, okay, we definitely need to talk about this. And so the one that I had talked about yesterday was about heavy work. And I got a message from one of my friends, and she was like, it was like you were like channeling my inner self. Like you knew that I needed this because her son was having some issues. And I was like, nope, every parent is finding themselves stuck with the willy-nillys of their children. And so some of it is just what I'm seeing in my own sessions, and some of it is geared off of what the parents are doing.
Yeah. Smart.
Hopefully, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Like right now, it became the way the group is very haphazard and random because I'm still working full time from home, and so it's just kind of like bits and pieces as I target things. Ideally, in my head, I guess I didn't have intentions to start this group, but moving forward, I would love to keep it going and have it be something that's more systematic. So I have some regular input and things that I can target for families that might appear more organized, but maybe not. Maybe this disorganized fashion is more successful than nothing.
Well, it's working because a lot of people are sharing the activities that they're doing with their kids and sharing pictures and stuff. So this is really, really nice. Really, really cool. So how did it change your life? Like, you were on TV, right? You were approached by TV producers and stuff. So what happened after you started going viral?
And that's kind of the funny part. I mean, everything I say to people is like, if you knew how I'm just Jody. Like in my mind, I'm just Jody. And so when I get a Facebook message that says, I'm a reporter in California, can I call you for a interview? And I was like, interview? What are you interviewing me for? Like, it doesn't even like come to my mind why somebody, I don't understand. But then when you see this expand and where it's gone and the interest that's been in there, I'm like, okay, well, there's something here. There's something that people are seeing that they're needing, not only in this crazy time of this pandemic, but in this world where everything is so technology based and otherwise. It's going back to the simple root of play and movement and purposeful play and movement. And I think that was just needed. And so just bringing them back, I guess. One piece of chalk at a time.
That's super awesome. And it's really cool. So do you ever did you get to the point where you're walking down the street and people are like, Jody, I saw you on TV?
Not yet, because we're not really allowed out that much. But someday I'm walking in the grocery store and you're like, you're the chalk lady. I'm gonna be like, I'm the chalk lady.
That's awesome. I think it's a fascinating, when those of us who really like to think about entrepreneurship and small business development and stuff, I think it's fascinating to look at how, like, it's never just one thing, right? Like, there are people who have a 9 to 5, but what they really wish was that they could have their own, like, chocolate company, and so they start a blog about how to make really great chocolate, and people love chocolate, so it takes off. But then you're like, really not, you're the opposite of that, right? Really, you're like, but I've been doing this thing that I'm passionate about, and I love helping kids, so I'm drawing from what I know, all that experience, and I'm just sharing it outside of my normal job, and it does the same thing. Like, it takes off, and people love it, and you're like, I'm not doing any of that others. I'm just doing what I do, right? But you get the luxury that comes with that, right? Is not trying to be like, I'm this version of me here and I'm this other version of me here. You're like, I can source my ideas from my work. I can, like, basically a market test from, like, my daily conversations with parents and kids, and trust that if these are talking about it, probably a whole bunch of these are talking about it too. And it's just so smart. It's so simple. I love the elegance of simplicity a lot. And I'm like, so smart.
I think that's what makes it easy, is that I'm not doing anything, that doesn't come natural for me as far as what it is that I'm teaching people about. That's what I know. It's literally like, that's what I know, so that's what I will share. But in the format that it is, it's because we're stuck where we're at. I mean, you get to see me in this makeshift office that I have. I mean, there's nothing glorious. It is what it is. And I don't know that I could do it any other way at this point. This is how it works, and this is what I do.
Is there, now that you've had time to be in this and see the impact it makes on people, like, has there started to be a bigger vision potentially? Or are you like, I'm cool to just keep doing this and that's enough?
I mean, I guess for me, because I'm still working, like, summer's coming and I have summers off. And so I think then when things settle and I'm not working every day, the group, I would like to make something that is more organized in some sort of way, to access people and to have files and things that people can get at. Because I'm not really tech savvy, like you had even mentioned, like, how many new subscribers, like something about YouTube. And I was like, I don't even know what that is. Like, I just posted it on Facebook, and then someone said, make it public. I had to ask somebody how to make something public. Like, I didn't know what any of that meant. And then next thing I know, I mean, we celebrated 500 viewers, then we celebrated 10,000, and then we celebrated 100,000. When I got to 100,000, I was like, holy cow. And my kids were like, Mom, it's not a big deal until you get to 1 million. I was like, all right, fine. And then we got to 1 million, and they were like, oh my God, we've been making TikTok videos for days, nothing like this. You go out and jump on the street. I don't know.
So awesome. So awesome.
So, I mean, I guess, like, whatever comes from this is going to come regardless, because I think of how it started. So how it evolved and how you helped me figure this out, really.
I'm in. Whatever you want. That's awesome.
And Tracy here, Tracy says, 2 of my favorites, Judy groupies.
It's cool.
That's Tracy Townsend.
Yeah.
Yes.
New Hampshire, part of the old New Hampshire crew.
Yeah, so Tracy, there's 3 favorites here, please.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, that we've got it. So, and we're almost out of time. So, Ifat, what are we close? You had one other thing you wanted to talk about before we close, right?
Yes. So, guys, if you're watching all these beautiful live streaming transitions and everything, and you're wondering, how can I do the same thing myself without paying you $1 gazillion? Well, I got the solution for you. It's this Monday at 10 a.m. Central. That will be 8 a.m. Pacific and 11 p.m. Eastern. Here, we're working on that stuff, right? So this is what I got for you. I'm going to walk you step by step on a hands-on workshop where you can learn how to go live, even if you are afraid of the camera, never done it before, don't know what to say, not techie, worried about the tech. all that jazz will be solved in a few hours, because I do understand that what stands between you and the results that you want is the 50-hour course. We're not going to do any of that. In just a few hours, you'll be up and running. You know about lighting, you know about tech, you know about what to say, how to interact, all that jazz. So it's super, super simple. And so hop on in there right now. And if you want $400 off, just use my name, Ifat, YIFAT, as a coupon code, and you can get $400 off right now, like very, very quickly. So it's only like 97 bucks. And lastly, if you guys are struggling with figuring out how to bring out the best in you, become legendary, you know, in your business, in your relationship, in your career, with your kids, to this Thursday, we are interviewing Tommy Breedlove about his playbook, step by step, of how you can become the best that you can become, overcome all the challenges that you have. He's been running workshops with it. He has written a bestseller, Wall Street Journal bestseller, USA Today bestseller, tons of talks and conversations. And you can come in, tap into his brain, ask him anything you want, same time, 11 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern. Notice how I do the flip.
You're getting there. You got a little, yeah, okay.
Doing the flip. So yeah, so that's right there, viralconnectivity.com. Thank you, Jody. That was
You're welcome.
entertaining and enlightening, and I'll definitely join your group. So fantastic. Welcome to the online world, lady.
Right? She's in now. You're in.
You know.
Hey, remember, don't just search for the naked truth. Be the naked truth. This is a great example. Get down to what really matters. Let go of the fluff and the BS, and just stick with where your heart's at and where the naked truth is. Thanks for joining us today.
Bye.